Angels are here to serve humanity. They cannot help us unless we ask. They cannot do things for us that violate spiritual law. Many of us have been programmed to believe that my problem is not big enough for an angel or I'm not worthy. No. Angels earn karma too. But when we hold back, not asking them for help, we're actually stunting the spiritual growth of our angels. Now, I always vet them, visualize myself pouring salt on the angels around me. If you're going in for a job interview, you can't tell your angels, make sure that I get the job and that these other people don't. What you can do.
Welcome to the New Earth Eden podcast with me, Eden Cause. Laura, hello. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Hey, all right. I want to go straight into your bio. So, psychic, certified past life regressionist, biogeometry, and I knower, expert, facilitator. We'll talk about that today because that's one of those things that I don't really know about. Remote viewer, negative entity remover, home and house clearer, and soul retriever. You are a former middle school teacher turned author, speaker, and remote viewer. When the paranormal hells broke through in your house, you stopped teaching to save your family's soul, essentially. Now you help others, and I would call it kind of exorcism, removing of dark forces, entities. And this goes into ghosts as well as reptilian, grays, demonics, the whole dark negative hierarchy. You say the unseen energetic world affects all of us, and I see that as well, whether we are aware of it or not. Learning to navigate this hidden world with discernment and wisdom is how we reclaim our soul sovereignty. And I will add this move into the 5D. Laura, my first question that I would love for you to answer is, how do you see the 5D, the new earth, as we're moving into it? What does that feel like it's going to be for you?
Ideally, all the inhabitants move along, right?
Yes.
I do feel that we are in the midst of what I would call a homeopathic reaction. So, if anybody out there is familiar with homeopathy, when you feel like you're getting sick, you'll take a homeopathic remedy. It makes your symptoms worse before it gets better. And that's kind of like where I feel we're at right now with the things. We look around and there's a lot of beauty. There's a lot of people waking up, and there's a lot of people going, aha, I remember, right?
Yeah.
This is key. We have to remember. And we don't have to remember all of the things, but we need to have that spark within us. And that is where the 5D starts coming into place right there. It's not going to happen for everybody because I have no spiritual jurisdiction. It's not my job to move somebody along on their path while they're digging their heels in and saying, no, 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 right? That's
Yeah.
a violation of spiritual law. But again, we're all on these spiritual paths, and it's not mine to judge where somebody else is at. So in this 5D earth, we're going to see a lot of progress. We're going to see a lot of developments happening on the spiritual realms, which is also the 3D physical realm, right? We're seeing shifts in how we understand our bodies and the mind, the soul, and these elements. And these understandings are coming back to us.
Beautiful. I know that as we're starting to awaken and starting to open up, that the dark forces are like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Trying to get a foothold wherever they can. I'm seeing it in a lot of my clients as well.
I call those toddler temper tantrums.
Yes. Do you feel overall that there is starting to be a lightening with those who are wanting to develop, who are wanting to move? Because I get you with the heels digging in too, in terms of the split, that I feel there is going to be this time period right now that those who do not want to grow are going to be stuck in kind of a hell. And those who are looking to awaken to get out of this victimhood. All right. For those clients you are interacting with, are things getting easier, would you say, or lighter?
It depends on the clients, and it
Okay.
depends on their soul missions, their
Mm.
purposes, how big of a target they may have on their back or not. There's a lot of theme and variation that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of this awakening is that we have to realize where our comfort of discomfort lies, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
I love
I'm in
being
it.
beaten up all the time. Yay.
Yeah.
But that's your comfort zone, right? That's what you're used to. But I am seeing things lighten up on a global perspective quite often.
It's
And
great.
sometimes it's a two steps forward, one step back scenario.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's two steps forward and 10 steps back, but we can still get to take two steps forward.
Hmm.
Um, so with that, I'm seeing a lightening. And I work with people that have significant things happening quite often. I don't know for all those that are familiar with like Dolores Cannon, she's
Yes.
talked about how many people in past lives, they were just do their past life regression and be like digging potatoes, right? I have yet to find those people, which is fine, but their problems and issues seem to be really thwarted. So these dark elements, these dark entities have been puppeting us for millennia, right?
Yeah.
Now we're saying, wait a minute, we don't need you. We
Right.
don't need
We
this.
can break free.
They're parasites. They're nothing more than parasites at this point, trying to extract our energy. It's
Yeah.
all comes down to energy. That's the base root cause is energy and who controls the energy. So if we can say, you know what, I'm not afraid of you a-holes, right? I'm taking my energy back. You can't have me anymore. It makes a big difference. But sometimes the fight's a little bit harder and deeper than that. And that's okay.
Mhm. Okay. Tell me about the analogy of digging potatoes. I hadn't heard that one. What does that mean exactly?
That in the past, for centuries, millennia,
Yeah.
the 1400s looked like the 1500s, which looked like the 1600s. Oh, we developed the printing press, the Gutenberg press. That was a game changer on this planet. And then we keep going on and on and on. And all of a sudden, when, the 1900s hit, we have this huge J curve in technology, right? It's a huge spike in technology.
Mhm.
Our bodies are used to being farmers. Our bodies are used to this lower density frequency, these physical bodies that we're in. And so when I talk about referring to digging potatoes, it's like, you know what? I died in starvation in the 1400s. I died in starvation of this. So there was this monotonous repetition, but now over the past couple
Gotcha.
100 years, things have really shifted for humanity. We're getting access to technologies. I mean, even 10 years ago, our Zoom conversation would not be as clean and clear as it is now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's kind of what I meant by that. We are very dynamic.
I know you've explained this before, but I would like for my audience to hear it. The 10 years that you had dark demonic forces in your home and that was your training ground. And I want to go ahead and preface this because I am also going to ask you have some amazing tools to really know if entities or your guys if they because there are so many tricksters out there how you can really see
Yeah.
clearly those we're going to talk about. I want to ask some questions about sleep paralysis as well. Yet I do when we talk about or when you talk about our bodies, I just went through and I'm still in this breatharian initiation, which I see as new earth eating. Are you familiar with that at all? Pranic living?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, I have to add, I just had solid food this past Saturday after 2 months and 2 weeks of dry fasting, and I've lost a lot of weight, which is part of the process. So, one thing I want to add in here is I've been like the day of eating, it was like, oh my God, I get to eat today. It was like, okay, I get to eat today. And when it was done, it was so lackluster. The pasta, I had pasta. The pasta that I had, I could taste that it was from a box. Like all these things that I
Oh,
used
yeah.
to be subconscious about.
Yeah.
So my body this week basically said, you need to eat food every day. Okay. And I'm like, why? Why? And it's more just to get some balance back within me. But I also, there's a part of me that doesn't want to eat. There's a part of me going, why this? So I'm in the midst of still in this really seeing on Saturday, like I always food is a lie. But then suddenly going, okay, how do I even explain this?
Um, I think we're talking about the mind, the body,
Yes.
the spirit, right?
Yeah. And
And the body needs the grounding of food,
mhm,
but does it need as much food as we're told we're needing to have, right?
no.
It creates a heaviness within us. It creates a density, but at times I think that density grounds us, right? Um, Now, when you're talking about you could taste the cardboard
Mm,
from the box, right? So I think you're dealing with, honestly, is we get so our taste buds are so polluted.
yeah.
And so your taste buds have been unpolluted, depolluted, right? And now it's like they're like so pure and clean. It's like, holy cow. They're like, no, I can taste the soap from the dishwasher. I can taste this. I can taste, right? Because you're not used to it. So this fits in really well, I think, with the concept of sugar addictions.
Oh my God. Yes.
Because when
Yes.
people are addicted to sugar, vegetables, plants from the earth taste horrible to them. If you are severely addicted to sugars and you're going to eat some raw broccoli, it will taste horrible to you, right? Or any
Yeah.
other vegetable concept. So I think what you're telling me makes so much sense, though. So is your soul and body struggling to regain a healthy balance, right?
I think, Laura, thank you so much. I feel like the grounding portion is huge because I was also like a part of me concerned, like if I go to eat like just one meal a day, is it because I figured I would do one meal that I eat and then do a smoothie. And then I'm also like, well, is this going to put me back on the track of eating? And part of me, my soul and my body goes, no. You just need it this week to come back in to put some meat back on your bones.
Mhm.
It's all going to be okay. I stopped eating sugar 3 years ago, and I can't imagine if I'd gone through this process.
Oh, I know, isn't it wild?
Oh, how it sounds like you've been off of it for a
I
while.
don't eat sugar. Every now and then I'm at an event or a birthday or whatever, and like let's say I don't eat gluten
Yeah.
either, but I'll take a bite.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, fine. I don't crave it. I don't want it. I kind of view sugar also as a poison.
Oh, I feel it has been brought to us to basically poison the body to
Yeah.
keep us
And
in tired.
fun little
Yeah.
fact,
Yes.
breaking a sugar addiction is harder than breaking a heroin addiction,
Yep. Indeed.
right?
Uh huh.
It's like, wow.
Well, and it is like once you're
Yeah.
free from it and you really you do not want it. And when you taste it, you realize that it is poison. It does not feel good.
Yeah.
It does not. Okay, so with that, the one thing I do want to add, because Laura, you're such a great person to talk to about this. When I ate on Saturday and we ate a little bit yesterday, like I'm struggling now with this concept of because already understood that food is not what we've been taught, but this whole because again, you need shelter, you need food, but you don't need that much food. And I've eaten this way my whole life, and it filled my soul and it filled my day. So now I'm sitting with it on a different level, going, it's like I've been so tricked. It's like I got mad for a while and just
Well,
yeah, it's
think
yuck.
about, our ancestors. Did they really sit down at a table and eat
No.
3 square meals a day and have snacks all day long?
No.
No, they couldn't,
Right.
right? You're out hunting and gathering. You're out, you're eating the berries as you find the berries, right? It's a very different existence than we have now.
Mm.
And so nowadays, it's the struggle to find clean foods. And I'm just going to
Oh
throw a
gosh.
wackadoodle concept out there. But
Let's hear it. I love
even though
wackadoodle.
we have organic, we have all these other things. Well, when we are dealing with sky poisons like we are in Oregon,
Chemtrails.
chemtrails, yeah,
Yeah.
there is no such thing as
No.
organic anymore. And so
Mm-mm.
the ability to utilize frequencies to transmute
Mm.
those toxins as best as we can is helpful,
Well,
right? And
yeah.
we're doing the best we can. So we have to go in, we're doing the best we can. We know we're doing the best we can, and that has to be good enough. And that's okay. There's only so many fights that we can fight at one time, and this dark side is literally pummeling us because they're losing their grip.
And I had a friend of mine who was so nice. So Brooke, so nice. She's like, Eden, you're taking one for the team because this is hard. Again, learning how to use energy for nutrition versus food because it's breaking the cycle of collective consciousness. So it feels like I'm not just doing it for me, I'm doing it for everybody. So I didn't plan on talking about it today, but thank you for letting me.
No, it's a good conversation to have, though, right?
Well, thank you. And I love how open you are to it and you understand it because it is like it's been so neat as I've talked about it because part of me is like, I am going to talk about it. I've had a couple people be like, "What are you doing?" But most everybody has been like, "Whoa." Like
Yeah.
all I desire to do is just to plant a seed. And it feels like there have been so many seeds that have been planted, even if they don't align with it completely. There's something that wakes up in them and goes, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
Let me
There's
just sit with that.
also the possibility that what works for you may not work for this person,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So we're looking at ourselves from a soul perspective versus being in a human body perspective. Maybe some souls need certain nutritions, have certain abilities, and others have different ones, right?
Right.
That's a possibility too. So what works for you may not work for me. What works for me may not work for you over there. We're all different. I mean, if we were all the same, we'd be robots, right?
Yes. And that's what they want us to be, right?
Yes, I know. I used to be a middle school teacher. Fill in the bubbles, kids.
Oh my
Don't
God. Okay.
think.
Let's go into that. Okay. You were a teacher. You were, I think they wanted to, or you were going into counsel, into like more in your community, and then hell break loose in your house.
Oh,
What
yeah.
happened exactly? I really want people to know your experience.
So I'm a public school teacher. I live in a very conservative community. I teach within the community.
Yeah.
I was a middle school math and Spanish teacher for a long time, and then I went to the elementary level, like fifth grade boy, and the little kids are really scary to me. Kindergartners are like terrifying. They leak everywhere. Um, I had one day in kindergarten, that was enough.
Oh my gosh.
And
Okay,
I was
leak
just filling in
everywhere.
for a teacher who was late to work. So,
Wow.
anyways, um, but what was going on is that all of a sudden one of our daughters had started seeing things. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting because when I was a kid, I was psychic too.
Okay.
My parents were like, okay, don't be weird. It kind of went away, and I didn't think much of it, right?
Hmm.
And then along
Okay,
the
so
way,
can I
yeah.
interrupt? Where were you at the time in this? Like knowing you were psychic as a kid, you kind of put it away. Was this like what the heck is going on? Or there was a part of you that went, I
This is
automatically
bigger than
believe
me.
this. Okay.
This is bigger than me. And I knew, and my parents, love them, bless them, all the good things. They didn't know what to do with me. And
Yeah.
so I also think that the light side sort of just like put a cloak over me also when I was a kid
Okay.
because I wasn't protected. I wasn't fortified to be doing and seeing. So then my daughter comes in and she starts seeing these things, and it's like, okay, this is bigger than me. I knew it right away because there was so much darkness and heaviness just rolling around in our house. We had ghosts. And I didn't know what to do with the ghosts. I mean, that's how green I was. We had all of these dark entities. We had a hat man in the house. The hat man is he's got like this little fedora hat, and he stands in the corner and he's like watching and observing. The movie Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon is a really good example of the hat man. Their job is to observe and change your path.
Okay, so let me interrupt you for a second. This happened 20 years ago? How many years ago? 10 years ago. How long
For
ago
me,
for you? Yeah.
about 20, almost 20 years ago.
Almost 20 years ago. And how you have how many? I want to say three kids. Is that correct?
Yes, three
Okay.
kids. Yeah.
All right.
And
And how?
I'm doing the best we can. We've got
Okay.
a three-headed crocodile roaming around the house. These are all in the ethers, okay? I could sense them and sometimes I could see them. My abilities were starting to come back.
Okay.
We had all kinds of beings and entities coming in, going all the time. It wouldn't be uncommon for me to be sitting down at my computer working and have somebody put their hands around my neck and choke me to the point where I passed out. There's nobody home. So nobody is physically doing this to me. And
Right.
this is what we're dealing with. And then, and I talk about this a lot when I'm out speaking. We all have this defining moment. We know where we were when, right?
Hmm.
When the 9/11 towers fell, we know where we were. When this happened or that happened, we know where we were. And my defining moment that changed the course of my path, and again, hindsight's awesome, right?
Yes, it is.
Because at the time I was pretty mad at God. I
I
was like,
yes,
what the
yes.
heck? And
Yeah.
so our little girl came, she's 6 years old, comes racing into our bedroom at night, jumps into bed with us, and I just kind of grab her and she whispers in that really loud kid whisper, Mommy, Mommy, the shadow men are in my room and they said they're going to steal my soul to break you. Those are not normal 6-year-old words, are they?
Yeah. No.
And I couldn't lie to her. I couldn't say, oh, it was just a dream or, oh, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I did everything I could to swallow my own fears so I wouldn't give them to her. I stopped teaching and had to figure this problem out. But the dark side got greedy. What I understand now in hindsight is that the dark side saw my potential future.
Mhm.
They saw a future that I didn't know could ever even exist.
Yeah.
I should be retired with a pension right now. They got greedy. And it was in that moment I was like, oh, hell no. I didn't sleep for years. If I slept with one eye open and no more than 2 hours at a time for years. Because I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to keep my family safe. And I don't know what that means. Now we're in San Diego and we're into one down to one income at the same time, right? And so I learned a lot about fear in those early days. Fear in small doses keeps us safe. Oh, don't turn left or oh, wait for the light, right?
Yeah.
Fear in large doses is paralyzing. It stops us from moving forward. And every day for years, I literally sometimes I have to grab my leg and put one foot forward of the other one. It was so paralyzing, but I wouldn't let them win.
Did you seek outside sources for
Oh God,
assistance?
yeah.
Like, okay, and nothing
I
quite
mean, I
quite
kissed so many
worked.
psychics, so many shamans, religious clergy. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
everything. And we left no stone unturned. I'm trying to move mountains. So my husband's
Yeah.
a business guy, and now I'm in this woo-woo airy fairy world as a former teacher, right? So
Yeah.
I'm looking for shamans, I'm looking for psychics, I'm looking for spiritual practitioners. He's looking for religious clergy because that's normal, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And we had, somebody say that, oh, your 6-year-old needs an exorcism. We had somebody else say, oh, this ghost child is actually an aborted fetus from a relative from 50 years ago.
Okay.
That makes no sense. I mean, then it's like, oh, well, you must be doing something. You must have deserve what's happening to your family. You must have done. I mean, I heard it all. I just heard it all. And most of the information I got was what not to do, what didn't work. So
Okay.
I'm trying everything. I mean, tens and tens of thousands of dollars in spiritual services, in devices, and all of these things. And really, it may have worked for a nanosecond and then it stopped, but it was unbearable. It was excruciating, and it was trying to maintain this normal facade also to keep my kids in a normal environment so they could have friends and not have friends over and not have to worry about a dish flying out of a cabinet door that was closed. Um, we have all kinds of stories like this. And so I stopped doing what I normally did, and everything went on pause to solve this problem. It took me about 10 years.
Oh my God. And I also having help, but none of it working was, I guess,
No.
part of your path too, for
Yeah.
you to figure it out yourself and for you to come up with the protocol that you use now. That must have been so frustrating though, too, when it's like, again, God, just send me someone who can
Yeah.
help me. And it turns out to be you.
Well, and I realized that was my training ground.
Yeah.
If, okay, so one of the biggest issues we had in the beginning was a ghost child named Annabelle.
Yeah.
And it's before the movie. It has nothing to do with the movie. And Annabelle came in. She was in residence with one of our kids, same age, died in a car accident in the 80s, I think, based on the clothing she was wearing.
Hmm.
So our soul, right, which is inside of this body, right? These bodies are just rental units. This is where you're working with the prana energy because you're experimenting, right?
Yeah.
And I say that in a good way. Um, these bodies are rental units. It's what houses the soul to have these physical mortal experiences. So Annabelle is living with us, and I realize she's dressed in a 1980s type of nightgown. Okay. It was kind of like white and like frilly, kind of like around here. We can all go back in time and remember those good old days of extra shoulder pads and hair and stuff, right?
Yes.
So, anyway, she had died in a car accident. But what I realized was Annabelle hadn't realized she died.
Mm.
This was a news flash to her. And so she had been in her house. She would cry. She wants me to be her mom. She can't find her mom. I mean, it was heartbreaking. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, Annabelle, do you know that you've died? And then this ghost child just became quiet.
Oh.
And then she started crying and she started recounting the story of a car accident. Somebody ran a red light and they crashed into her on the driver's side. She died. She's watching her dad try to go after her body, but the paramedics and stuff are there and they won't let the dad go. And the mom is crying. That's when she realized she died. So, this ghost energies exist on this planet throughout the history of time and every single culture. If they didn't exist, why is that, right? The same for angels and demons, those concepts. And so now I had a ghost child that was not only sad, but angry
Mm.
and lashing out. I mean, normal kids get angry and lash out. Imagine, yeah, how do you punish a ghost child for harming the cat, right?
Okay. Okay. So that's what she started doing, like pulling
Yeah.
tails, hair.
Yeah.
All right.
Stabbing one of my kids in the back with an etheric knife. And my kid would come
Oh.
out of the shower with these three welts over and over and over. I
Oh,
mean, it was
so
a nightmare.
really angry, like
Oh yeah, this
violently.
this story is actually in my Journey from Teacher to Exorcist book.
Okay.
But it's not a scary book, but it's got a lot of lessons in how to help yourself book also, but it has
Yeah.
stories in it.
Okay.
So that's what I was dealing with, and every day was a different day. Every day, no 2 days were the same with the
Mm.
craziness happening that nobody else could really see or know about. And it was exhausting on a good day.
Did you have any friends that you could talk to, or were they just like, Laura, cuckoo to
Not
you?
really. You know what? I
Oh,
had one
man.
friend who at that time was a new friend, but she dressed a little on the woo side. I'm like, you know what? This might be the person for me. And I don't mean that to be derogatory, but
No, it's,
like, free flowing clothes and beautiful
yeah.
soul and love and light and all the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I ended up talking. I told her what was going on, and she's like, "Oh my goodness!" And a lot of the psychics I talked to said, "This is beyond my abilities. What you're dealing with." That was like a common theme. And so my friend says, and we've got all kinds of ghosts in our house. We've got lower realm entities, got the Hat Man, we got the black magicians, we got the reptilians. I mean, we are just like if they were in physical bodies,
Everything.
it would have been a fire hazard. Okay. The fire department would have come down and shut us down. Okay. You can't have that many people in a small space. And so I told her what's going on. And this story is also in the book too, because she goes, "Well, did you burn some sage to clear your house?" I'm like, "What? Sage? What's that?" Okay. Seriously, what's that?
Yeah.
I mean, I eat with it. I know, I've heard about, Indian ceremonies and stuff. That's cool. And I'm like, "No, where do you get sage?" And she's like, "Oh, go to this metaphysical store, blah, blah, blah." So I go to this metaphysical store. I buy this cute little bundle of sage and it's got some little wildflowers wrapped in it. It looks beautiful. It's like, why would you burn it? It looks too pretty, right?
Hmm.
So I go home and I open a door, like she said, and I burn it. Nothing happens. So I'm like, okay, nothing happened. What do I do now? She's like, "Well, did you get white sage?" And I'm like,
Oh.
"There's a difference." And so I'm like, "Okay." But she goes, "Oh, I just harvested a bunch of white sage," my friend tells me. And I'll bring you over some. So she brings me over some and and she's like, They're very potent. Just burn one at a time, but I'm giving you 12 just so you can have some for the future. All right, cool. Take the kids to work, husband's off to school, or excuse me, take the kids to school, husband's off to work. And I'm like looking at this, I'm like, if one is, and by the way, I've been sleep deprived for over a year. Okay.
Yeah.
If one is good, 12 must be really good.
Oh my God. Let's
So
go. Let's go,
I
Sage.
open up all the windows because I'm not going to let anything stay in. And in my infinite brilliance, I put them in a large silver mixing bowl. And I'm holding the bowl and I light it on fire. Do you know what happens to silver when it gets,
Yeah.
there's
Gets
fire
hot.
involved? It gets hot fast.
Uh-huh.
I literally dropped the bowl. It, thank God, lands on the kitchen table, but the chimenea effect, I've got a scorch mark on my ceiling. All the smoke detectors go off. The house is billowing with smoke at this point. And I take it outside and I go get some hot pads. I take it outside and then I just douse it with the hose water. And I'm watching these billows of smoke roll out of every window of the house. And I'm like, please, God, don't let any neighbors see this. Don't call the fire department. Please, please, please. Nobody called the fire department, thank God. And I stand outside, and all the animals are outside too because it's smoky and the smoke detectors are going off. I'm like ripping them off the wall, smashing them. Okay. Because there's too many and I can't get them to stop. And so, all of these dark entities, I'm watching them in the smoke just laugh at me.
So it's still in the house, not coming out with the
Didn't do
smoke, just
squat.
going, yeah,
Didn't do
good
squat. My
try, Laura.
problem was bigger than Sage.
Yeah.
And that was a big lesson. Silver lining. I always find the silver lining, right? But that was
Yeah.
like my lowest point. I just got in the car and I just drove around, sleep exhausted, depressed, thinking this will never go away. It was awful. And so that's my Sage story. But our problem was way bigger than that. And the internet it wasn't what it is today as it was 20 years ago.
Hmm.
These conversations that you and I are
Yeah.
happening could never have happened 20 years ago like this.
Yeah.
Um, Finding answers, like I didn't know what the word remote viewing was, but I could see through walls and doors.
Hmm.
So I'm like, see through walls and doors. What does that mean? Like I could see what was in the next room, and all of a sudden it's like, what is this? I had no idea. I now know it's remote viewing. I do remote viewing to help people in the work that I do.
Hmm.
And I take them on the journey with me because they need to see what's going on too. And we remove it together. But yeah, those were the early days. It was rough on a good day.
So, what was the turning point for you? How did you finally get something that actually started working that
Yeah.
I can start to be in control of this now? What happened?
Somebody had recommended some resins. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay, so frankincense
Hmm.
resin, dragon's blood resin, myrrh resin, and some other resins. And I started playing with these resin blends. Okay. And I realized that this resin would remove this resin would remove that. And I actually created my own blend, which I feel like is perfection at this point.
Wow.
And so when I burned the resins on a charcoal round for the very first time, because I bought everything. Okay. I'm like
Yeah.
literally buying everything. And I'm like, all right, if this is good for this, this is so I'd like make this big batch. And I started burning it with the resin, and I could all of a sudden see these long wispy things appear and then pixelate away, disappear.
Okay, were you at this point like, I'm just going to try this? It's probably not going to work. And then you
Yep.
tried it and suddenly you were like, oh my gosh,
That was the
something's
first
happening.
big aha. That was the first time anything ever shifted for me.
Oh,
So, and then we go back to the Christ child. What was the Christ child gifted? Frankincense, gold, and myrrh, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so it was like, that was a big aha epiphany for
Oh
me.
my gosh.
So gold makes sense, right? So,
Yeah.
we recite this cute little mantra, yeah, at Christmas time about frankincense, gold, and myrrh, and the three wise men, da da da. Da. Well, the three wise men knew the Christ child was in for a wild ride. So let's fortify him a little bit, right? And they gifted him gold is also high frequency. So the frankincense and the myrrh, and I've added some other high powered resins to this blend also, but it was a game changer. It was a game changer. And, I do firmly believe, and I tend not to make friends that when I say this, but I really don't care because it is my truth at least. And I
Yeah.
want people to investigate what's true for them. That sage was sent to humanity under the guise of being helpful to remove dark entities.
I am not surprised by that because there are so many falsities with New Age. And okay, keep
Yeah,
going.
I think that is one of so another big part of this whole puzzle
Yeah,
is, let's talk about the new age, the light workers, this, these people who have a good heart and mean well,
right.
they trust too much. They trust that if they're talking to Archangel Michael, oh, that must be Archangel Michael. Well, let's vet the dude. Let's really see if this is him, okay?
Let's vet this angel right now. Come on.
And we're
Yes,
going to talk at the end on how to do these strategies because shapeshifters happen in all dimensions. Your beloved priest who the community loves, you find out later he was a 20-year pedophile. That's a shapeshifter. They happen in all dimensions. And so when we can learn to vet our guides, our higher self, really discern and tune in, is this the real deal or not? It takes their power back. That's a big deal. So we get our power back. You get your power back when we start to vet these things. And I would get such criticism even 5 years ago from people in my community. Oh, you're so negative. You just assume that everything is negative. I'm like, yeah, have you lived my life? Right. But my turning point with the vetting concept was is the middle of the night. I'm in my living room and I'm watching these fire portals open in my living room. And I'm like, and all these beings are pouring through. I mean, I wish I was this creative to make this up. Okay. I'm not. And I'm just like, what the heck? And all of a sudden, Jesus pops in. I'm like, oh, thank God,
I was
Jesus
going
is
to
here,
ask you
right?
about that. All right. Yeah.
Jesus is here, thank God. And then
Mhm.
Jesus like comes into my face and he's yelling at me about I'm
That's
a
not
horrible
Jesus.
human. I deserve all of this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel like I turned to stone for a minute. I'm like, what? Right.
Yeah.
And then I looked at Jesus from a slightly different angle and I saw pixelations in his form. So I visualized myself pouring dragon's blood resin on him and it melted. It was not the real Jesus. So if these dark ones can create Jesus imposters,
Uh,
this is something we all need to know about.
right. And we are, I mean, in this moment of truth, and you talk about being too um, too what was the word that you used? It's suddenly escaping. Not too open, too trusting. Okay, but
Hmm.
also getting down. I like in our show we talk about everything. It's the government. It's getting
Yeah.
vaccinations. It's TV. It's like we are presented all around with these things that are not true that want to program us.
Yeah.
So and I want to ask you this too. So my perception with all of this that's going on, being a spiritual battle, is coming back to all of its God, which again, I have a lot of people look at me when I talk about this. What do you mean the demons are God? It's all God, it's all source. And where we are headed through this great awakening is the polarity and being able to look at both of them and
Hmm.
stating what is your choice going to be? Are you going to go and then the dark side? Are you going to be negative? Are you going to move towards heaven on earth? So
Yeah.
we are being given that choice right now, and we can look at it and also say this is all outside of us. But really, it's all an inside game. Okay,
Yeah.
what would you say to that?
Well, first of all, the light side has to abide by spiritual laws. So if you're sitting on the fence being waiting to be told what to do, guess who's going to choose for you? Not the light side. So you have to have your spiritual strength, your spiritual discernment to say, you know what, this is what I choose and why. Why do I choose this? We got to know the why. Just don't. It's like, do you ask your kids, did you have a good day at school? Yeah. Why? What made it good? Right?
Yes.
Ask the why. Ask yourself the why. And you talked to also a moment about everything is in plain sight, right? They're hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
There's this little known spiritual law on the dark side that's called carnelian law. Carnelian law means if it's in plain sight, you
Man.
automatically can consent. We don't have to ask you.
Hmm.
That's a problem because most humans are good humans. Most humans are trusting humans. And so they'll believe blind faith, right? Blind faith is really good for the dark side.
It sure is. And you're right. It's everywhere that when you start to peel it away, like even with the eating portion for me, it's like, oh my gosh, there it is there. There it is there. It's initially when you start to waken up, it's just like it's everywhere. How do I have that discernment? How do I move past some of it? Because it is
Yeah,
everywhere.
it's everywhere.
Okay. And I like, there are also these podcasts that are also the same thing. Oh, everything's great. And look, we're moving into this new earth. So I try
Yeah.
to also balance it. Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Well,
Yet
we
there,
can't rest on our laurels,
no,
right?
and there are
Yeah.
these things that we need to work through and see and be a part of.
Yeah, a number of years ago, I was working on this huge job in Miami to remove gray aliens out of an institution, and they're all over the video cameras, okay? At the same
Whoa.
time I'm doing this, um, a famous person in this field's like, all the grays have been removed off the earth, and I'm like, really? Really? And so everybody's like, Laura, did you hear so and so said that? I'm like, okay, then why am I almost dead from dealing with this job if that was the case?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Because I also know that you have talked about too that what you do is not easy. You have put yourself, well, in your family in the line of fire. They did not want you to get this. So they were going to stop you at any point. So I'm assuming there have been multiple times where you have been, again, with them wanting to take you out, taking you over, wanting to
Oh,
take you over. How many
there have
times would you say
been,
that's happened?
oh, dozens and dozens, especially in the beginning. I remember, gosh, I'm in San Diego and I'm driving. I want to say it was like Thanksgiving weekend or something. And I was driving somewhere and by
Yeah.
myself. And I hear this voice say, pull over into this parking lot now. And so I'm literally in a Pier 1 parking lot, which that dates you, right? And I'm like, whoa, what? And then all of a sudden I feel this in this reverberation in my heart.
Yeah.
I look up and there's two sets of 16 black helicopters above me, and I get hit right in the heart chakra. My heart chakra exploded. It was so painful. And everybody else is like standing up, wow, look at that. I'm like, what the heck? I literally barely made it home. I was bedridden for 2 months.
Oh, hon.
And no, 15, 20 years ago, nobody talked about dues, but I was hit by a due. I don't know if I was targeted, if they knew something. I
I
don't
would
know
assume
if it was
so.
right.
Yeah.
And that was really hard. I mean, I literally couldn't get out of bed and I felt so bad for my kids because I'm like missing out on their lives, right?
Yeah.
Um, there have been so many instances like that along the way, and each one made me tougher, stronger, grow my
Yeah.
spiritual muscles. And so, one of the key elements that I always look back on, no matter how hard the situation is, what was the silver lining? And it could be that for me in that moment, that silver lining was I made it home safe,
Mhm.
right? They didn't expect that. But I also know that my team knew something was going to happen, and that was a silver lining. They had me pull over. If I had been driving and that happened, what if I would have crashed into somebody else? I
Yeah.
don't know, right?
Okay, for the audience right now, please send Laura. I don't feel like you need it per se. It's just good. Like send her some love, send
Oh,
her some
thank you.
care, just because she is out there. I think a lot of us, but she's in the line of fire. You're really doing incredibly important work right now. Okay, a couple questions. What do you feel about Pablo Santo?
I think it's good. It's
Okay,
not negative. So it will work for some people more than other people
okay,
based on their experiences, based on their ties to the land, perhaps.
okay. Okay.
So I think there's something there with it. Copaiba is another one also. I think it's from the similar region. We have all these tools available to us now.
Hmm.
And so we got to figure out what works for us, what may not work for us, what can work for me may not work for you, and vice versa.
Okay.
Um, and play with them.
All right. It was just interesting. I cleared off a business using Pablo, and I still have sage in my home in my studio, yet I don't use it as much, but especially after talking to you, because there's so much with intention
Yeah.
that is so strong as well. Oh shoot, I wanted to ask
You
you.
know,
Go ahead.
sometimes we outgrow the tool.
That makes complete sense.
So, did you outgrow Sage? More than
I think
likely,
so.
right? I
Hmm.
mean, I've outgrown tools and it's not a competition,
Yeah.
right? So, once we turn spirituality into a competition, guess what? It's not.
Okay. This is what I wanted to just remark, and I'm curious with your. So I was this about a year ago. I had this team of smelly, monstrous entities. I was doing a session. They came into the session, and then they didn't change shape at all. They basically said, "We want to help you." So I was my teacher in Ohio. Basically, she said, "Eden, you need to go out to these sacred sites in Ohio and work with them." So this team of probably 10, again, just smelly. I just remember that they were in the car with me. I was by myself, went to these mounds, went to these graveyards, and they assisted me, helping me clear entities, clear. And I was just, and when we were finished, they kind of went away. But it was such an interesting moment, not what I expected at all. And they never changed their form, they just changed their attitude and wanting to assist. And they were so grateful to be able to do this. What do you think about that?
I feel like they were earth dwellers,
Mm,
and what they ended up doing was absorbing negativity on the land to heal the land.
interesting.
Um, and then once that job was done, it was done. The ability, so there's many different psychic senses, right? I swear the olfactory one, the clairgustance is like the worst one because nothing ever really smells like roses and,
No, I did have apple pie once, which was really nice, but this was not that.
Right, right. And so, but yes, so, they are smelly. Just because they're smelly to us doesn't mean they're not going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Did you also somehow reconnect them to the lands where in those sacred areas where they could be freed also is a possibility.
Okay. I know I didn't do that intentionally, but when we were done, it was just like they breathed and felt peace. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it worked.
And so there's many types of healings when we talk about land clearing, when we talk about clearing people. When I look through, when I'm clearing a property, for example,
Hmm.
I I look at it as like there's the rings on a tree, right? Every ring on a tree is a different age, a different thing. So in one piece of land, think about the concept of dead man's curve, right? Every community has a dead man's curve where there's always a high accident volume. There's a buildup of heavy energy there.
Mm,
And there can be a buildup of ghost energy there also. If somebody exits the body suddenly, they're standing on the side of the road looking for help that will never come because they don't know they've died. And so now we get somebody that's sensitive like you or me, and we see something out of the corner of our eye and we go, what? We turn and we're in an accident. Um, each accident is a stack of time on the earth,
mhm.
right? It's a ring on a tree. So when you go through and you clear layer after layer after layer, and is this what the mounds were? Layers of different issues on the land and layers of different, and this is, we can talk about humans also, but even before the humans, this land had other epochs and eras to it too,
Yeah.
right? So I have a feeling there was, I'm going to call it a multifaceted clearing. And those beings were gone. They sought you out for help, probably more than you may have realized.
Oh.
And
I
now
love
they're
that.
freed.
I love that. Oh my gosh, because it was really interesting. I'm curious your take on this too, that there were, I'm hoping, ellipses, so many ellipses in this graveyard. And I saw those as being keeping bodies there, that they were negative, at least in this situation. It was such an interesting outing. And just being able to see things. And this is not my forte, let's call it, yet
Mhm.
I feel like I can do it, but it's not one of that, like you do it more, that this is your
There
niche,
was a
let's call it.
resonance issue you had with the land or with those beings. I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you just did it. You didn't question like, oh, am
I
I going
didn't.
crazy or whatever?
Oh
And
gosh,
you
no.
sought a little bit of guidance and you're like, okay, come
Let's
on in,
go.
boys, let's go.
Let's do it. It did feel like boys, felt like male energy as well.
I feel him as male. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very masculine. All right, let's go into sleep paralysis for just a second because I've dealt with one client who had that too. And I'm like, it is not what it seems to be. Can you give your perception on that?
So I was doing a past life regression, and sleep paralysis exists all over the planet. Moms take their babies, their children to the doctor because they're dealing with sleep paralysis and night terrors. And the doctor says, oh, that's just a normal part of childhood,
Oh my
right?
God, right.
Your child being terrorized is not normal. Let's just leave it at that, okay? Not normal. And so along the way, I'm trying to clear things out of my house. And I read a little blurb of something. I don't even know where I found it. I wish I could give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
But it was something about the frequency of green light at night helps to create a barrier. Okay, so I thought, okay, well, you know what? I put green lights in the ceiling fans. I mean, we were like Ghostbuster City, you know. Nobody ever questioned our house, by the way, which is weird. If
Good.
anybody ever said, oh, the kids like it or whatever, okay, we had this big secret. And so, anyways, the frequency of green at night can help with that. Because what this is, and I did this regression a number of years ago on a woman, and in this regression, the current life gray aliens that were abducting her showed up, and I was able to capture and remove them. But I always question and quiz them. Okay. I have a way to put them in a containment field, and I'll have my guides, my team pluck someone out, and I'll just start quizzing them. And this one gray was telling me that, and I understand they're not going to be honest, they're not going to be forthcoming, but I got some things that I can help that's helpful, right? And so this gray was telling me that what they do, that sleep paralysis and night terrors is a great.
I want to take a break from the show, take a little breather, and ask you, how are you feeling about the fiat dollar today? Any government issued currency? What I am doing on my own is trying to move away as much as I can and investing and putting my dollar in precious metals. I'm going to recommend watching episode 188 with Miles Franklin, precious metal experts. The reason I had them on was I had moved my money from a standard IRA, which is great because I don't really want to invest with companies that I feel do not have heart, and moved it into a gold IRA. And it turns out the company that I had gone to was not all that reputable. So was connected with Miles Franklin. Kevin helped me move everything out and also didn't say, well, now you need to come to Miles Franklin. They're doing this because they have integrity and they have seen how many people have been damaged with this process. So, can I recommend them because I had personal experience? Yeah. So, if this has any sort of resonance to you, and I would also encourage having precious metals in your home as well. So, episode 188. And then, if you want to reach out to them, which this is below as well, info@milesfranklin.com. And please place in the subject line, I sent them to you. Love that. Thank you. All right, let's go back to the juicy show.
And so this gray was telling me that what they do, that sleep paralysis and night terrors is a great form of food for them. So they need, when the dark side, the grays, the reptilians, the fallen angels, whatever you want to call them, left the light of God, they left a light source, an energy source. This is the problem. They now no longer have a light source, energy source to sustain themselves. So they're looking down at us humans saying, "Oh, let's just tap into the human energy." This is why they're interested in us. They need us. We do not need them. They are nothing more than a parasite trying to feed off of us. So I'm talking to this gray, and he's showing me that the grays, it's an ancient technology, by the way, but why it's so, it's ancient technology for them, but the humans have never seen it because what they do is are you familiar with the concept of a Faraday cage? So a Faraday cage is something that you can put your phone into that's a mesh netting so the signal doesn't come out, that kind of thing. So it's this kind of a concept. They will, when the person hits the right state of sleep, they wrap this Faraday cage thing around them. It causes the sleep, and then they can insert within the little tubes and wirings and stuff different thoughts and different things to create terror. But I'm not saying this to terrify people. I'm saying this to terrify people and also say, you know what? Now that you know, and it
Yeah.
breaks the spell. Um, and so they were telling me how this worked. And so once we did that, we removed it, and I literally like lit it on fire, and it just disintegrated.
So for them as parasites feeding on fear versus happiness or bliss, it is fear.
It's
Like
fear because that is the vibrational frequency that they can transmute the easiest.
I want to say, why is that? I mean, it completely makes sense because fear is also negative and dark, and like for them to create happiness that doesn't
No,
doesn't work.
it
Okay.
doesn't work because they left the light of God.
Right.
Love, joy, health, wealth. These are high vibrational concepts that keeps us above them from attacking us,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
when we talk about raising our vibrational field, it's not just a cliche concept.
Mm-mm.
There's a lot of things we can do to raise our base vibrational frequency. So I'm vibrating at, let's say, a 500. Okay, that's my base.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just throwing out numbers. It's my base. And now I'm going through, I get a promotion or whatever, and I'm really happy at work or whatever. So my base is a little bit high. Maybe it's 520, 550. But then let's say I get fired or I get a divorce, and now I drop, right? But when my base is strong at 500, I can drop below 500 for some moments, but then recalibrate. Okay. This is what raising our vibrational field looks like. It can look a little bit of prayer and meditation. It can be essential oils. It could be burning resins. It could be so many things. It could even be listening to your favorite Sirius XM radio station. Okay. When you're listening to music that makes you feel good. So it can be that simple. And we don't have to spend all of these hours every day meditating and this and that to raise my field. You need to live life. You need to be grounded. And don't focus in on the upper chakras. We need to focus in on the lower ones too, because we want our
Oh
chakra
gosh.
system, our
Yes.
energy system to be in balance, right?
Hmm.
And so everything going out in nature, I mean, nature is so wonderfully abundant for us on
Hmm.
so many frequencies and levels. Pine trees give off negative ions, which raises our vibrational field. So does salted ocean water. So there's a lot we can do.
There is a lot. And I will comment or tag into when we talk about, trusting woo-woo people that there's so much of that too, that, oh, I'm out here in the ethers. I'm up here. Well, part of this human ascension is connecting with both and balancing both and being a human being on this human plane. And we also I'm big on your soul's health, and I know I've heard you in several podcasts talk about that too, that is so that translates into everything. That translates into your emotional health, your physical health, and you talking about these simple ways to increase that, knowing there are so many ways to increase that as well. So I want to put that out there too, that is so huge right now, so huge. And I also you talk about intuition being your biggest strength. Can you speak for a second on that?
Our intuition is our superpower. It's not seeing dead people, right?
Yeah, your
Everybody
intuition
wants to
helps
see
you
the
with that.
dead people roaming around, right? Okay. Our intuition, most of us have had it beaten out of us as children, right?
Yeah.
Because the parents say, oh, well, that can't be right. And then you kind of like, shrink a bit and whatever. Our intuition is our superpower because when we learn to listen and grow and develop our intuition, we're connecting to our higher self. We're connecting to the God source. We're connecting to the divine. When we listen to our intuition, it keeps us safe. When we listen to our intuition, we also respond with wisdom and discernment, right? The knee-jerk reactions disappear, which cause the dramas that would follow a knee-jerk reaction, right? So when we learn to develop our intuition, there's some simple, easy ways. One of my favorite examples is, you're running a bunch of errands. Ask your higher self to find you a good parking spot. Listen to your higher self, and you will find that there's this parking spot that magically opens for you. It can be that simple. You can also learn to feel the energy of words. Okay, so take, on three
Love
pieces
that.
of paper, write down three words. Write down, grass, coffee, and I don't know, garbage, whatever it is, right? And turn them upside down, mix them up. You don't know what's what, and just start to feel the energy of the words and just play with it, have fun with it. Don't say, "Oh, I got it wrong. I don't have any intuition. I got it wrong." No, you play with it. Nobody's 100% with anything. No doctor is 100% in their diagnoses, right? No lawyers are 100% in their resolutions, right? So just play with it and have fun. So when we're learning to develop our intuition, have fun with it.
Mm. Nice. Can you I think we're going to go into the practice again in a moment. That was lovely in terms of practice. Tell tell folks some of the things you have seen because for me too, I think I've seen it all and then I see something else and I'm just like, "Oh, look at that." And knowing there are so many in terms of ETs, in terms of galactics, it is so vast. One of the scariest that you've seen and one of the most beautiful that you've seen.
Um, the scariest element I had seen was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And I'm working with this institution to remove, I briefly touched on it, remove these gray aliens.
Okay, so the
Because,
one in Miami.
yes,
Okay.
because in Miami, by the way, is like so full of ETs. I don't know if it's the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know what's going on down there, but it's not my favorite place to be. So just
Fun.
saying.
Okay.
And so I can't seem to do this job remotely. So finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to fly down. My client, I flew down. My clients put me up in their place. They had an extra penthouse thing, and I go to this institution, and the minute I walk in, for the first time ever, the security guys hear them say, "Oh no, she's here." So they knew
Whoa.
about me. Okay, that was like, whoa,
Okay.
that was daunting. And I did a couple experiments. One is I took sacred frankincense oil and I marked it on the size of a reverse cross, bottom up, wait, right, left. And that whole thing, that whole portal shrunk on the camera.
Jeez.
So they don't like sacred frankincense, which is a good to know, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, right? And then I'm there, I've got a plan. I go back to where I'm staying and I see the gray ship outside the window. And I'm
Jeez.
like, and I'm by myself, by the way. And I'm in a 10,000 square foot penthouse and I'm by myself. And there's a gray alien ship out there with my name on it. That was terrifying. And I'm listening and I hear the concept, Mr. Smith yourself. I'm like, what? They went back to the Matrix movie where Mr. Smith replicated himself.
Yeah.
And I replicated myself in all of these rooms and I hid in another room. And I left my body. I know it sounds like I'm making this up.
Oh no,
I'm not
you
that
can, Laura,
creative,
you can tell me anything. Yeah, I
but
like,
I
yeah.
boarded that ship. We removed the queen and we
Wow.
removed the replicator. And it was like this mad hornet's nest was now coming after me. And my teams, my angels, all these light beings came in. It was a big war inside and out of that building. It was crazy. It left me depleted energetically for 6 weeks,
Wow.
but it was done. They've never had a problem since.
Oh my God. Your team must be incredible.
They're vast. They know who comes in for what roles more than I do at times.
Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Talk about vast. Like it feels like, okay, you've got, it's like I'm seeing this path of beings. And then if another situation comes in, someone gets in line behind
Hmm.
that. Wow. Because I mean,
They're
that
huge.
is striking what you had to deal
Yeah.
with and what
That
you
was
had to confront.
terrifying because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I had to listen to my intuition. I
Jeez.
wasn't told, my team didn't tell me anything about it till I was there in those moments because the information would have been leaked, right?
Yeah.
There's
Oh
recon
my
in all
God.
dimensions.
Mhm. And girl, you've just got to be able to trust yourself that if something really big, that your team, you'll be able to figure it out and be able to handle it in the moment.
That's, I'm very humbled by what I get to do.
Yeah.
I'm very respectful of what I get to do. I keeping my ego in check is
Yeah.
critical because if I let my ego get in front of me,
Wow.
they'll take advantage of that, right?
Right.
And so I'm very grateful to be able to do what I get to do. And
Mm,
it was a long time coming. It was a long, hard path, but I get to change people's lives so they get their lives back.
mm,
I had a woman about 3 weeks ago, I think. I worked with her. She had addiction problems. This is like I'm going to the most beautiful thing. Um, she says was born with an addictive personality and I don't know why.
mm.
And so when I work with somebody, you and I are working as a team because I want you to
Yeah.
remote view and see what's happening also. And then once we're done, we close the door. So we're never going to leave a doorway open. So we're working and we're crossing over a lot of dead, some family members, some extraneous people looking for help or whatever, and that's fine. But there's this one shadow guy over here that wasn't in cooperating. I'm like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
This woman who had shopping addiction, alcohol addiction, couldn't figure out if she liked men or women. I mean, on and on and on, right? And she's being tormented. And it doesn't fit her
Mm,
personality. And she always felt like she was fighting for to be in front of her body, which is a hard concept to describe. She wanted to be in front of her body. And so I captured this guy over here. This was her grandfather who died before she was born, who died of alcohol poisoning. So he was a ghost with an addiction. So a death will not change your personality. If you're an a-hole in life and you don't cross over, you're going to be an a-hole in death. Okay. It's just the way it is. And, another real quick pro tip about ghosts, guys, if you're going to die and you don't cross over, you die in what you wear. And as a ghost is what you die in, right? So don't die naked unless you're totally hot. Okay.
unless you're hot, a quick caveat from Laura. Please
Yes.
listen.
Unless
Okay.
you're hot, then that's okay. So,
Yeah.
anyways, back to this woman. Um, her grandfather had entered her body as when she
Mm,
was being born.
mm-hmm.
So she was dealing with possession from day one, but she didn't know it.
Wow.
We removed him, extracted him, and 2 weeks later, I get the best email. I'm alone in my body.
Oh.
I get to make my own decisions. And by the way, I like men because the grandfather liked women
Right. So it's
and it
so
was causing a
confusing.
confusion for her. So, anyways, those are the most beautiful things that I get to experience when somebody gets their life back in a way they never knew existed.
And I appreciate you because I think even just us having our time today, that will shift my sessions as well because they've started getting deeper over these past couple of years, especially with
Yes.
with everything. But
Yeah.
it is time because I see a lot of dark entities as well. Yet the influence. I mean, there was one show that you also talked about them being at your feet, influencing you and your spouse, getting angry about sheets or some
Yeah.
decision. Like they
Some
they
dumb thing, right?
right, they love fights, they love anger, they love it, and again, they exist and they thrive in it. And without it, they can't be, which is so fun.
Right.
Can
Yeah.
you take 1 second? I know I want to biogeometry. What is that? That's new
Okay.
to me.
Biogeometry is the study of shape caused waves.
Okay.
So, what I mean by that is that everything in this physical realm and even in these other dimensions can either emit a positive frequency, a
Mm,
neutral frequency, or a negative frequency.
okay.
And so, one, how do you determine if something is a positive frequency, neutral, or detrimental, right?
Hmm.
That's a big deal. One of the most common things people misuse pendulums on is they'll ask a question. Does my boyfriend love me? Okay. That's an emotional question. So that emotion is tied to my body. So we want to make a statement with a pendulum. Okay. All we're doing is testing the energy of a statement. I am drinking this tea right now. Okay. And I'm just going to use this pendulum. If for me, it's clockwise. I don't know if it's reversed on my camera or not. This tea has a positive vibrational field to it.
Hmm.
So as I'm drinking it, it helps me calibrate my field. So that is the most basic essence of biogeometry.
Okay. Is that the
And
tea that you
that's
sell on your website, by the way?
it is actually, yes.
Okay.
And this woman worked with a tea master for decades promoting his teas that are all over the United States markets. And we're working, and she's like, I retired from this position. She made this tea commonplace in the United States.
Oh man.
But I want to keep working with teas. What do I do? And I'm like, oh, that's easy. Infuse them with frequencies.
Mm.
And so now she's doing this. So I'm going to have if anybody out there, I'm going to have another newsletter come out and I'm going to feature her teas because I believe in them so much. And so along this way, we've been testing. She does, a variety of different frequencies
Yeah.
based on what she wants. She's got one on her website about intuition, greater possibilities. So she's got all these teas, but they are phenomenal and the frequencies hold.
Wow.
So that is, in a nutshell, about biogeometry,
Thank you.
discerning frequency fields and energy fields. And then how do you transmute a negative or neutral into a positive?
Hmm.
How do you shift the land? So when you were with the smelly guys in your car,
Yeah. Yes.
you shifted the energy of that land to the positive.
Hmm.
It's a big deal.
Hmm.
It's a really big deal. And you freed those guys too.
Hmm.
I feel like maybe they were even from the epoch of the giantisms. I don't know.
That makes sense because they were big. They
Yeah,
were
and
not
giants did
normal.
roam this earth and they were trapped.
Yeah.
So, they saw your light. They're like, we think she can help us.
Oh my God. I feel so good with that. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and mention your website just to make sure, because I talked to Laura in the beginning. Sometimes at the end, I'm like, oh, after the practice, I'm feeling so good. So Laura Van Tyne. So Laura, well, let's spell it all. Laura Van VANTYNE.com. And I looked on there too, like you have some jewelry, the tea, your concoctions, let's call it, the resins that you've been
Yeah.
working on for all this time. So really good stuff. And I love right now that there's so much good products to buy to help us through this time. And right now, help is good. We're going to get
Help
to
is
the,
good, and I will only sell
let's hear it.
what I feel to be beneficial to somebody else. I spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to fix my
Yes.
problem. So if I can have somebody not do that, that would be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
And
All right.
those resins I still handcraft them.
No way.
Yes, I still do it. I will not change that. No matter how busy I get, I
Okay.
will make sure that those are there because they were the game changer for me.
Oh my God, Laura,
Yeah.
you have so much heart. And I really, when you talk about the ego not being there and needing to be, so the same is for me as well, having to be, I'm a human. There are these things that I can do, but everybody has these, and they're just different. Again, we're not all robots, so what I have, you will not have. Yet we are coming to a time where everybody is going to start feeling these more and moving more into the divine light, and that is part of why I'm here to help with that, and why you're here to help with that. And it's good. All right, so let's move into the practice. You talked about initially sharing practical tools for your listeners to spiritually protect themselves. Are you still feeling that?
Absolutely, because there's so much out there. So I just want to
Yeah.
bring it to the basic fundamentals. Um, there's so much out there, and let's just cut the crap. I mean, we don't need to dance naked in a full moon and you know what I mean?
Unless we're
That kind of stuff.
hot. Unless we're
Unless we're
hot.
hot. Right,
Okay, we can do
exactly.
that.
I mean, I was told to do so many things to fix my problem. I was like, oh dear God, are you kidding me?
I can just imagine. All right.
All right. So back to my school teaching days. Um, the tetrahedron.
Yeah.
It's a four-sided
Mhm.
pyramid, three walls and a floor. The Merkaba has two of them inverted in that, right? A lot of people like to stick themselves in a Merkaba. So just use a tetrahedron. These are visualization practices. So it's three walls and a floor. All right. I will send you an image if you wanted to put that in there somewhere of a
I'll put one in
tetrahedron to
there.
help people. Okay. What I do is when I go out, I will visualize myself in this giant tetrahedron. Okay. Because this is going to create a barrier for me as I go around town or whatever. Inside of this tetrahedron, I can visualize myself bringing up a huge violet flame to
Mhm.
clean, clear, and transmute. I can bring down a salted rain at the same time, right, to clean, clear, and transmute it. What I'm doing is I'm clearing myself of negative energies, negative entities, heavy energies. All right, this is a big deal. So between every client, I have 30 minutes between to clean and clear myself, no matter what, at the minimum. So it's not the best business model, but
But it's necessary and it's good for right
it is.
now.
Well, I don't want to give you my gunk.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's like, doctors wash up between surgeries or what patients for a reason. Same thing.
Hmm.
Clean and clear. The other thing we can do, the biggest, most profound, largest spiritual impact we can do is to learn to call upon our angels.
Mm.
Angels from the higher realm. So angels are here to serve humanity. They cannot help us unless we ask for them.
Yes.
They cannot do things for us that violate spiritual law also. However, many of us have been programmed to believe that my problem is not big enough for angel's help, or that I'm not worthy of an angel's help, or I got to save all my little chits for the big ask. No, angels earn karma too. So when we hold back and not asking them for advice, not asking them for help, we're actually stunting the spiritual growth of our angels. So let's start asking them and utilizing their help. Now, I always vet them. I always pour salt on them to visualize myself pouring salt on the angels around me because I want to see if they pixelate, shapeshift, or disappear or feel that they do. Okay. If they do, it's not that I'm not worthy. It means I dodged a bullet. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going through this rather quickly. So ask your angels for help. If you are struggling with a person at work who seems to have it in for you, ask your angels to be there with you. Ask your angels to help guide your words. Ask your angels to clear the energy in the room that you're having a meeting in. Ask, ask, ask. If you're going in for a job interview, you can't tell your angels, make sure that I get the job and that these other people don't. But
Right.
what you can do is ask your angels to clear the line of communication between the people interviewing me and myself so that they hear my words for what they truly mean. Ask the angels to guide your words in the interview. If you're arguing with your spouse or something like this, or your children are just doing not cool things, ask the angels to help guide them. They're your minor children, so you have spiritual jurisdiction. Moms and dads of teenagers with new licenses. This is a great tool. I used this one years
Mhm.
ago. One of my daughters had fallen off the top of a cheer pyramid and had a 9-month concussion. It was
Whoa.
terrifying. And she had seizures. She had to learn how to read again. I mean, it was so bad
Oh man.
because the girl was going to catch her and break off her new nails.
No. What? Okay. Wow.
That I still get angry about that one, right? She was like, "Grr." um, but she got her license late and she wanted to go. She was always going surfing with her friends, but she couldn't drive until she was medically cleared.
Yeah.
And so I would drive her in, but at the end of the parking lot, right? So nobody could see her because she wanted to be cool. Totally fair. So she gets her license, we get her a car, and that first weekend, she's going to go surfing on that Saturday morning. And that Friday night, I'm like, no, you can't go. There's going to be a car accident. You're going to get hit by a drunk driver. And now World War III is erupting in my house, right? My husband, my kids, like, don't be weird. No, 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 you don't know, right? All these things, right? By now they should know. And
That's
so
what I
I
thought.
thought
Okay.
I can have my family angry with me for the rest of my life over this one incident, or I can employ the help of angels. So this is what I did, and this is something that we can use for ourselves and our minor children. I can't use it for my 35-year-old with their own kids, okay, because they're adults. I made the request that her car was completely surrounded bumper to bumper with angels. I wanted a pair of angel hands on top of her hands to guide her. I wanted them to soften any blow that she may come into contact with. And from the minute she left the house to the minute she comes back. And so she was gone. We were maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the ocean. It
Yeah.
wasn't, in a Saturday morning, especially. And she's not even gone 10 minutes. And she calls us, Mom, I was in an accident. And, my husband and I practically teleported there. And we get there, and the California Highway Patrol guy is like, yeah, we don't know how she didn't spin out based on the point of impact. So it's a big 5-lane, the I-5 in San Diego, big freeway, right? She said, Mom, this big truck came up and it was waving back and forth, back and forth. So I got into the slow lane, but it still
Jeez.
hit me.
Oh man.
And she said it was the weirdest thing. She goes, I felt being hit and my car floated to the side of the road and just parked itself. That's the power of angels. The officer said that she should have spun out based on the point of impact. She didn't. That use your angels, use them to find a good parking space, especially during the holidays. Use them for anything you can think of because the more you use your angels, the more you grow your spiritual team. The more you employ their help, the more they get to grow and strengthen their abilities too. It's a very healthy symbiotic relationship. So use your angels.
I think that'll help people a lot in terms of the guilt and non-deservedness. Like, do this to help them. And I can see a lot of people go, "Oh, I can do that." Well, it's helping me, but I'm helping that. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
symbiotic
and by the
balance.
way, who made us think that we're not deserving of angel help? Not the God side.
Right.
Okay, you walk into a Catholic church. I'm going to just pick
Oh,
on it for a minute.
yes, I love that. I was going to talk about that too. Yes, please. I
The
love
first
that.
thing you see is the perpetual torture of an ascended master.
I know.
It doesn't mean the people that attend that church aren't good people, but it's invoking guilt, shame, and blame for everybody that sees that. So, what if we turned all of those crosses into that early version, the healthy version, the Aramaic version of Jesus with his hands up, right? How does that shift the
Oh
energy, the
my
vibrational
God.
frequency of this planet?
Huge. I'm
Yeah,
feeling it right now. That when do you think that's going to happen? When do you think that people are going to wake up to that? Because I know
I'm
religion
not
is
sure
so tough.
that becomes an indoctrination
Yeah.
of soul family lines also. It takes one or two people to break off, and it starts to wake up the rest, but it's pretty deep rooted. I mean, there's billions and billions and billions of those crosses all over the place.
Yeah. Wow.
And iron is a heavy metal, low vibrational substance
It's interesting too.
on top of it.
Okay. Wow. Your knowledge, Laura, thank you so much for sharing. You've been with me for a while right now. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing what you do, what you see. And again, I feel like our communication planted some seeds as well and woke people up to some stuff. And I loved what you said about angels at the end. Again, we as humans, as souls, we are just so deserving on this planet, and to really discover that and to allow ourselves to feel that happiness and that bliss.
Yeah.
That is what this awakening is about. So thank you for doing your
Thank
part.
you.
And I love doing the show just because I get to meet beautiful people like Laura. And again, I talked to Laura at the beginning. This isn't just a show just to have a show. It is meaningful. It is impactful to get more information out there and to bring more sacred light out there. So, Laura, thank you so much. Stay tuned next week. Love, light, sacredness, everything. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Just a thank you, and thank you for those listening because I know we have so many options in our busy lives. So thank you.
Oh, I love that. All right. See y'all. Peace out, you hot people. Laura had so much wisdom to share. And if you would like to keep this going and engage with Laura and with me, when the show goes live on YouTube, between the moment it goes live up to 2 days later, she and I will be there to answer any questions, comments, if you have questions for her about her work, or if there's something you're concerned about in your own home, or you want to talk more about angels. This is the place. And it is the place to also like and subscribe and to leave a rating or a comment on Spotify as well. This continues to help get this new earth frequency out there to more people. And we are in this together.